What up, world? It's your boy JusRzd, and it's finale time. We talking about X-Men 97, the finale, episode 10. Tolerance is Extinction, part 3. Let's get into it. Do me a favor. Go ahead, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you know you're supposed to be doing. Anyway, we on YouTube now. What are you doing? Welcome back to the channel, guys. This has been a fire journey. I can't even hold you. Spoiler alert, we talking about everything. That's all you get. We talking about everything. Bruh, this has been a fire journey. This season has been phenomenal. I believe they got renewed for season 2 and 3. So we are going to get a season 2 and 3. I think they're in talks for season 4. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the episode. The episode starts with Professor Xavier and Magneto in like the 1960s. It looks like a foreign country. It could be Vietnam. They never really said. But they're having a conversation, and through the conversation, they reveal that they're mutants, and they're just talking and discoursing just about mutants and rights and all different things. And it looks like a flashback from what you can tell. And then as the scene develops, you realize it's not a flashback. They're actually in the mind of Magneto. And what's actually going on in the real world is Charles Xavier is attempting to convince Magneto to use his powers to restore the magnetic field to Earth, right where they ended episode 9, where they were trying to get him to do the same thing. Now it's picking up episode 10 with pretty much the same exact thing. He's already ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine, and now Professor Xavier is trying to convince him, hey, nobody else needs to die from this. So let's restore the magnetic fields. And Magneto's like, man, I ain't here for none of that. They slaughtered us. They massacred us. I did what I did to Wolverine because he tried to kill me. I'm not for it right now. So Charles is trying his best to plead with him. And he's just like, look, man, we out of time. At the end of the day, if you don't do it, you gonna force my hand. I'm gonna have to make you do it. And he was just like, hey, man, chill out. You know that's not fair. That's not right. Relax. And Charles was like, look, man, you leaving me no choice. And at the end of the day, Charles then, in real life, grabs a hold of Magneto, uses his power to pretty much bend his mind and his will to use his ability for Magneto to use his ability to restore the magnetic fields. So he restores the magnetic fields, bringing back all the electricity for everybody. And in the process of doing that, he accidentally breaks Magneto's mind, and it kind of takes them both out of the game. Professor X is staying in there to try to, because he just broke his mind, he's trying to heal his mind and trying to bring the fragmented pieces back together before they just are completely gone and Magneto becomes pretty much a vegetable. So it transitions in the process. You see everybody, the electricity being restored, and through this whole montage, you get cameo after cameo after cameo after cameo. I mean, we talking Daredevil, we talking Iron Man and Captain America, we talking Doctor Strange, we talking Silver Samurai again. There's just so many freaking cameos in this montage. And then it cuts to the other team that was on Muir Island fighting Bastion. We see Bastion pull up. Everybody's been captured. Jean's been defeated by Cable. Sinister sitting there laughing. Bastion's giving his evil villain speech. You know they always gotta have a monologue. Anyway, so Bastion's there giving his evil villain monologue and just talking trash to Cable, who's still under control of Sinister. So he's over there just gloating, talking trash to Storm and all the other X-Men that are captured. And then it's revealed that Cable has tried to stop Bastion 200 times. Because earlier, Cyclops and Wolverine asked Cable, why didn't he try to stop the Genosha attack? And he was just like, bro, I tried too many times to count. And now we see how many times he actually did. It was 200. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of time. 200 times to just be unsuccessful every time. Kudos to Cable for not giving up. But man, 200 is a lot. Then through the process of them talking, Cable starts talking junk to Bastion. Bastion gets upset. And while they're having their discourse, all of a sudden they're gloating about the fact that they made Cable kill Jean Grey. And as they're talking, as they're gloating, as evil villains do, Jean rises out of the water as the Phoenix and pretty much puts the control collar that Bastion broke. She repairs it and puts it on Bastion's head, severing Bastion's connection to all the Prime Sentinels. And you just see the different, there's a montage of different people being attacked by Prime Sentinels as Bastion was talking, and you see Captain America and Iron Man at the White House getting attacked, trying to protect the President Kelly. You see Cloak and Dagger getting attacked on the street with Daredevil. You see just so many freaking cameos. So many freaking cameos. You see so many different people. You see Omega Red and the Russian superheroes getting attacked. Crimson Dynamo. I think it was Darkstar was there. But yeah, just so many different cameos of different people. You see Black Panther, King T'Chaka, not T'Challa, King T'Chaka, because this is the 90s. So it's T'Challa's dad, King T'Chaka, as the Black Panther. And you just see the Prime Sentinels trying to attack Wakanda. And then, of course, with Jean Grey repairing the crown and putting it on his head to sever the connection, pretty much the Prime Sentinels go down. And Jean Grey, in Phoenix form, pretty much strips Sinister of all the DNA that he stole and experimented, and turns this man into freaking Gollum from Lord of the Rings. But he got all shriveled up and old. Because you gotta think, Sinister's been around for a long time, and he's been using his experiments on mutants to like steal their DNA and keep him more youthful and powerful. And so she stripped him of all that using the Phoenix Force. And Buddy ended up turned into an old, shriveled up old man. And even asks Morph, what does my face look like? And he shows him. And he just runs away, crying and screaming. But it was just funny because he looked like Gollum Daddy. It was just funny to me. it was funny to me. And through the process of Bastion losing control of the Prime Sentinels, he gets pissed off pretty much. And all the Sentinels had shut down. He ends up taking Cable's arm, that was his metal arm, that was created because of the techno-organic virus that Cable was infected with as a child. He pretty much rips his arm off and absorbs the techno-organic virus and just evolves into like his final form. Almost like Dragon Ball Z when Cell got 18 and 17 and became Perfect Cell. So it's kind of like that. So he absorbed the techno-organic virus and it takes off to Asteroid M to go pretty much destroy Magneto and Professor Xavier and the mutants in Asteroid M. To send the asteroid actually crashing down to Earth so that way he can destroy the humans as well, because he realized, just like Master Mold had the idea, that humans are actually a greater threat. This happens in every freaking sci-fi movie with AI. AI realizes that we as humans are the biggest threat to ourselves, and they try to kill us. So Bastion flies up to Asteroid M to not only kill the mutants, but also to send Asteroid M down to Earth to cause a cataclysmic event so that way humans can die, because he realized that humans are actually a bigger threat to themselves than mutants are. And so he's on his way up there, and Professor Xavier and Magneto are still out of it, and they're realizing Jean actually sends a message to Scott to pretty much warn him that Bastion's on his way, and he's coming to drop the asteroid on Earth. And so Scott's like, all right, bet. And Bastion gets there. They start scrapping. The animation on this finale was it was crisp. It was beautiful. Like the Nightcrawler fight with Bastion, even Jubilee's little 2-piece on Bastion. Like the X-Men were getting it in. They were getting it in. Cyclops was getting it in on Bastion. Like they were scrapping and throwing hands, and it was just hilarious. it was hilarious, and the animation during that fight was super dope. They end up wearing down Bastion a little bit. Like they're giving him hands, and when Jean warned Scott that Bastion was coming, she also said that Beast was trying to work on a way to get up there. Rogue was giving Bastion hands, boy. She was giving him hands. Hit that man to the moon. Fought that man on the moon in front of one of Apocalypse's bases. And then sent that man back to the asteroid. And then Beast pulls up with the Sentinel and Jean and I believe Morpher's there and Storm. And just pretty much tries to use the Sentinel to step on Bastion, because he's already been beaten up by pretty much every X-Men member that's in the asteroid right now. And bruh, when I tell you, that joint was crazy. That fight was crazy. That fight was dope. My only nitpick about that fight is, when was Rogue able to breathe in space? I don't remember that in the comics, but when was she able to breathe in space? Somebody just answer that question for me, because I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Is she a Saiyan now? Is she a Saiyan? Like, are Saiyans canonical to the MCU? Is this what we're doing? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Other than that, the fight was fire. Other than that, the fight was fire. But yeah, man. So they they ended up defeating Bastion, and while they're fighting Bastion, the President Kelly is debating in front of all the world leaders, with T'Chaka and Captain America trying to warn them to settle down and to relax and to give the mutants a chance. They're debating if they should use the Magneto Protocol, which is a bunch of missiles that they're going to use to pretty much destroy Asteroid M. They don't listen to T'Chaka or Captain America, of course not. And they shoot the missiles off. So while they're fighting, while the mutants are on Asteroid M fighting, they also have the Magneto Protocol headed directly their way. And one of the missiles ends up hitting and destroying the gravity core. And because of that, it causes several different chain reactions and explosions. And in the midst of them defeating Bastion, Cyclops gets the inkling to just show this man some compassion, and just instead of just constantly meeting our opposition with brute force, to actually show this man some compassion and take the peaceful route. As they're reaching out and calling out to Bastion, you kind of see the struggle within himself, and he kind of has a change of heart, and he tries to reach out, but it was too late. He ends up getting vaporized by the gravity core, and then the asteroid starts to fall. And Sunspot ends up going to save Jubilee because she ends up falling. And so he has her, and they're in Earth's upper atmosphere at this point, so she's able to breathe, I guess. And the rest of Wolverine's still incapacitated. He's pretty much in a coma at this point. Professor Xavier is still trying to heal Magneto's mind. And when Jean warned Cyclops, Professor Xavier actually sent them a telepathic message and was just like, look, I have to repair his mind in order for him to not be a vegetable. And Jean warned him. She was like, well, wait, if you get stuck without being able to repair his mind, then we'll lose both of y'all. He was just like, I get that, but this is my best friend. I broke his mind. I gotta fix it. So Professor X is still trying to fix Magneto's mind. Asteroids falling. They're trying to do everything that they can to break up the asteroid and make sure it doesn't crash on Earth. And You just see everybody watching and seeing what's happening, and just people running, trying to save their lives, trying to save their families. Just utter chaos, utter chaos. And then you you see trying to remember, after that particular while they're affected, you have Storm, you have Rogue, you have Jean Grey trying to slow the trajectory of the asteroid down. You got more teams of mutants on the inside trying to destroy different parts, so that way they can pretty much destroy the debris of the asteroid, so it's not as big as it's falling to Earth. They're not being successful at all. They're struggling this whole time. This big asteroid is coming down, and it's coming down fast, and they're trying everything that they can to stop it. At the last second, at the last possible second, Charles Xavier heals Magneto's mind, and Magneto snaps out the coma, uses his power to stop the asteroid, sends it back to Earth. Everything seems to be going peaceful and in order. Magneto saving the day. The X-Men have saved the day. They've worked together as a team to stop the tragedy. And as the asteroid is getting back to orbit, you got Storm, you got Jean, you got Rogue flying back to make sure everybody's okay. In a massive explosion of colors, lights, and like almost like a warp, the asteroid seemingly explodes, but it looks like it just got teleported somewhere. And they pretty much fast forward to about 6 months in the future, and you hear on the news that the X-Men have pretty much been presumed dead at this point because nobody knows where they are. And it did look like an explosion, but it low-key looked like they got teleported somewhere. And you see the X-Mansion has chains on the fence and it's still destroyed. And then they go to the lab and you see Forge collecting materials in the lab, and he's just trying to gather materials and make sure everything's gather materials. And you see this board with more cameos of different mutants that are either missing and presumed dead, or still active, or AWOL, or off-world. And you see Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver. They're listed as off-world, but you see other mutants like Shadowcat and Colossus and Magic and Iceman and Havoc, and they're all on world and still active. But Jubilee and Sunspot and Cable went AWOL. But everybody else that was on the actual asteroid are listed as missing and presumed dead. And so enters finally Bishop. And of course, Forge doesn't know him at this particular point. Forge in the future actually meets Bishop and they end up becoming cool, but Forge in the present time doesn't know who Bishop is. So Forge is ready to fire off on Bishop, and Bishop's like, yeah, chill. We know each other in the future, and I'm here to help you find our team and get the band back together. And Forge is like, what are you talking about? He was like, I've been looking for 6 months. And he was just like, yeah, but you don't necessarily know when to look. Based on my calculations, it looks like our friends pretty much got sent to a different timeline or a different time period. So you've been looking here in present day, but they're somewhere on our timeline, and we need to figure out where and how they got there and how to bring them back, and we need to figure out what's going on. So then cut to, we end up going to 3000 BC, and you see a man about to get beat up by some dudes with some Egyptian god headdresses on, and then next thing you know, you see Rogue, and you see Magneto and Nightcrawler and Professor Xavier and Beast all come to his rescue and pretty much beat up the people that were trying to beat them up. And then when they finally realize who this person is, they rescue the person, and cut to from them rescuing the person, it shoots to Jean and Cyclops. Jean and Cyclops are actually in a random year in the future. I can't remember what the year was, but in a random year in the future, like way in the future, like post-apocalyptic future, and they're introduced. They're in like this deserted area in like some old ruins and desert, and they get approached by this group. The leader of the group introduces herself, and Cyclops and Jean, of course, have no idea what's going on. And then, lo and behold, a young Nathan Summers with a little metal arm and everything comes out to greet them, and he's like, "Nah, they should be cool." And all you see is Jean and Cyclops say, "Nathan," and then it cuts from them and goes right back to Professor X and Rogue and Nightcrawler, and they talk to the guy that they pretty much rescued from getting beat up, and they're like, Professor X is pretty much talking to him telepathically. He was like, "Hey, what's your name? And what's going on here?" Dude pulls out, because he had on like a mask. Dude, well, not a mask, but he had like a scarf covering up his face. Pulls out the scarf and pretty much tells him, I always mess up. I'm not gonna say it because I always mess it up. But he pretty much said, "I am Apocalypse," except he said Apocalypse's real name. I always mess up Apocalypse's real name, so I'm not gonna do it in this video. But pretty much, I'm the young Apocalypse. So this is pretty much Apocalypse before he became Apocalypse, before he got enhanced with all the new technology and stuff like that. And of course, it's immediately when he gives them their name, Magneto, Rogue, Professor X, Beast, they all look at each other like, ain't this some? We somewhere in the past, and now we run into this dude, like this dude of all people, this the guy we run into of all people. What is going on? Where are we at? What is happening? Then the episode, they end up going over a ridge and see pretty much Apocalypse's futuristic city in the past, filled with his technology. And then you hear Beast hit him with a cold one-liner, "Oh dear." And then the episode cuts to black. Then the credits roll, and of course, this wouldn't be the MCU if it wasn't a post-credit scene on the finale. So of course, post-credit scene on the finale, we end up going back to present-day Genosha. And in the full wreckage and disaster that was Genosha in episode 5, we see Apocalypse, like fully suited and booted Apocalypse, digging in the dirt, just kind of pretty much mourning for the mutants of Genosha and the tragedy that transpired. And in his hand is a burnt Queen of Hearts, representing, of course, Gambit, and just foreshadowing and hinting that he's going to bring Gambit back. Just that one scene alone. The scene cuts after you see the playing card in his hand, and he references death, and then the scene ends, and then that's the finale. But of course, that foreshadows Gambit coming back in maybe season 2 or season 3 as Apocalypse Horseman of Death. That's how they brought him back in the comics when they killed him off. That's probably how they're going to bring him back, I'm assuming, in season 2, but it could be season 3. But yeah, man, this first of all, this episode, I think I'm going to do a separate video speaking on just season 1 as a whole, because there's so much I want to say as far as X-Men 97 season 1. But for this particular episode, first of all, I'm going to get the rating out the way. 10 out of 10. What are we talking about? 10 out of freaking 10. Just beautifully executed. The plot threads, the cameos, they were cameos McGee in this particular episode. So many different characters that I didn't think that they were going to show off, from back in the day in the 90s animated series to new additions like Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger were never involved in those 90 animated cartoons. So it was just dope to see them there. You know what I mean? Just to see them there and showing up, supporting Daredevil, like seeing Psylocke on Genosha. Like it was just dope to see all of those different people, all of those different cameos. Just seeing how the story was going to develop, how it was going to end, how they defeated Bastion, how the X-Men came together and fought for their family and just really secured the W, man. The X-Men are freaking back, bro. The X-Men are freaking back, bro. Like, this was just a beautifully executed finale. Set up so many different things, so many Easter eggs, set up so many different things for moving forward for season 2. We might get Onslaught. We never know. We might get X-Men vs. Avengers, because there was a lot of Avengers in these last few little episodes. We might get X-Men vs. Avengers soon. We might get we for sure finna get Apocalypse, but we might get X-Men vs. Avengers. We might get Onslaught. We might get Kang. You never know. You never know. I want to know who's that them from the future. I don't know if it was Apocalypse or not. That would be dope. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kang popped up. I wouldn't be surprised, because the way they threaten the needle with these stories, man, I wouldn't personally be surprised. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, for me, this was a 10 out of 10. I ain't got nothing to say except for bravo, man. Bravo. Bring Bo the Mail back, man. Stop playing. But bravo. Bravo. Season 1 was phenomenal. Season 1 was freaking phenomenal. I'm gonna do a separate video on season 1 and my thoughts going into season 2. But yeah, man. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to comment, chop it up in the comments how you felt about this finale, how you felt about the season as a whole. Yeah, like I just let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. Keep it respectful, but let's just talk about it. Like, man, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can get notified anytime I drop a video. Yeah, man. Don't forget. It's free soul to the soul free. Let's get it.